Let me open this the only way it deserves to be opened. If you do not control your mind, someone else already does. Society, comfort, fear, pleasure, weak habits, weak people. Your life today is not a result of your potential. It's a result of what you allow your mind to tolerate. And most people hate hearing this because it destroys their favorite excuse. You are not tired. You are undisciplined. You are not unlucky. You are unfocused. The battlefield is not outside. It's between your ears. And if you lose that war, everything else is irrelevant. Here's the truth most people run from. Your mind is a dangerous place when it's undirected. Left alone, it will chase comfort, avoid pain, and negotiate excuses like a lawyer defending failure. It will tell you to sleep more, work less, quit early, and settle quietly. That voice in your head that says tomorrow is the same voice that will keep you average forever. Winners don't have a better mind, they have a controlled one. They decide what thoughts are allowed to stay and which ones get eliminated on sight. Understand this clearly. Motivation is not what you need. Motivation is emotional. Emotions are unreliable. Discipline is mental control in action. When you wake up and do the work regardless of how you feel, that's not talent, that's dominance over the mind. When you train while tired, focus while bored, and move while afraid, you are proving who is in charge. Your body follows orders. Your emotions fall in line. Your confidence grows because confidence is built, not imagined. Let me give you a hard hook you won't forget. Every time you let your mind talk you out of action, you train it to be your enemy. Every excuse you accept becomes a habit. Every habit becomes a lifestyle. And then one day you look around and wonder why your life feels small. Nothing changed overnight. You surrendered slowly, inch by inch, thought by thought. That's why control matters. Because once the mind is weak, the man is finished. Strong men don't wait to feel ready. They command readiness. They don't ask their mind for permission. They give it orders. We work now. We train now. We focus now. Pain is temporary. Regret is permanent. The mind will always choose comfort unless you force it to choose growth. And growth is violent. It requires pressure. It requires saying no to distractions that everyone else is addicted to. While others are entertained, you are building. While others are emotional, you are executing. Here's another truth most people won't tell you. Mental control is lonely. When you stop complaining, stop explaining, stop reacting, people won't recognize you anymore. Good. Silence is a weapon. Focus is a weapon. Self-control is a superpower in a world addicted to impulses. The moment you master your reactions, you master your outcomes. Nothing outside you could defeat a man who has already conquered himself. Most people think life is hard because the world is against them. That's the first lie. Life feels hard because their own mind is undisciplined, noisy, emotional, and constantly working against them. The real battlefield is not the economy, not competitors, not your past, and not other people. The battlefield is your mind. Every victory you want in life must pass through your thoughts first, and every failure you experience started as a thought you allowed to stay too long. That's the uncomfortable truth. If your mind is chaotic, your life will be chaotic. If your mind is weak, your results will be weak. No exceptions. Here's a hook most people aren't ready to hear. Your mind is always being trained either by you or by everything around you. Social media trains it to seek dopamine. Comfort trains it to avoid pain. Fear trains it to hesitate. And if you don't consciously take control, your mind becomes a weapon used against you. That inner voice that says, rest a little more, start tomorrow, or you deserve a break, sounds harmless, but over time it quietly destroys ambition. That voice is not wisdom. It's weakness trying to survive. Look at your current life honestly. The money you earn, the body you have, the respect you receive, the discipline you lack, none of it is random. It is the physical evidence of your thinking patterns. You didn't fail because you couldn't do it. You failed because your mind talked you out of consistency. You didn't quit because it was impossible. You quit because your thoughts made discomfort feel like danger. Once you understand this, excuses become embarrassing. You realize no one betrayed you more than your own uncontrolled mind. That separates winners from spectators. Pressure reveals who controls their mind. When things get hard, weak minds panic, complain, and look for exits. Strong minds go silent, narrow focus, and execute. Stress doesn't break you, it exposes your level of mental command. Anyone can feel confident when things are easy. Authority over the mind shows up when motivation disappears and action still happens. Your mind will always try to protect you from pain, but pain is the price of growth. The problem is not pain. The problem is listening to a mind that fears it. The moment you stop obeying discomfort, everything changes. Training while tired, working while bored, staying disciplined when nobody is watching. That's not physical strength. That's mental dominance. That's you taking territory inside your own head. Understand this clearly. Every time you hesitate, your mind learns hesitation. Every time you push through resistance, your mind learns obedience. This is conditioning. This is training. You're either training your mind to be your greatest asset or your biggest liability. There is no neutral state. That's why most people stay stuck. They rehearse weakness daily without realizing it. Another hard truth. Clarity comes after action, not before it. Weak minds wait to feel ready. Strong minds move first and let confidence catch up. If you're waiting for perfect conditions, perfect timing, or perfect motivation, your mind is already winning the war against you. Control means acting while uncertain, acting while afraid, acting while tired. And every time you do, your mind loses a little power over you. Once you dominate the battlefield inside your head, external problems shrink. Competition becomes irrelevant. Noise fades. Opinions stop mattering. You move differently because you think differently. You stop reacting and start deciding. That's when life starts responding to you instead of the other way around. Control the battlefield, and the war is already won. Most people say they want discipline, but what they actually want is motivation that feels good. That's the trap. Motivation is emotional, unpredictable, and dependent on mood. Discipline is authority. Discipline is the ability to command yourself without debate. When you understand this, everything changes. Discipline is not a habit you occasionally use. It is proof that your mind answers to you. And if your mind does not answer to you, nothing in your life ever will. Most people refuse to accept every time you wait to feel like it, you surrender control. Feelings are not signals of truth. They are reactions to comfort and fear. Your mind will always look for the easiest path because its default setting is survival, not greatness. That's why relying on emotion keeps people average. The men who win are not more inspired than you. They simply do not ask their feelings for permission to act. Think about the moments you regret most, the workouts you skipped, the work you delayed, the opportunities you hesitated on. None of them were missed because you were incapable. They were missed because discipline was replaced with negotiation. Your mind started a conversation it should have ended immediately. Discipline is knowing when a conversation is unnecessary. Action is the answer. Discipline is built in silence, not in hype. No music, no speeches, no applause, just repetition. Just showing up when nothing feels exciting. That's why most people fail to develop it. They want intensity without boredom, growth without discomfort, results without pressure. Discipline doesn't care what you want. It responds only to what you do consistently. Your mind will test you daily. It will exaggerate tiredness, magnify inconvenience, and dramatize discomfort. It will tell you one missed day doesn't matter. It will tell you rest is self-care when it's actually avoidance. Discipline is recognizing these tricks and moving anyway. Not aggressively, not emotionally, calmly, decisively. Like a commander giving an order that does not require explanation. The real power of discipline is not in doing hard things once. It's in doing small, uncomfortable things every day without emotional reward. Waking up on time, training when sore, focusing when distracted, ending tasks properly. These are not dramatic acts, but they create an unbreakable identity. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who executes. That identity changes how you move in every area of life. That separates leaders from followers. Discipline creates self-respect, and self-respect creates confidence. Confidence is not built by positive thinking or external validation. It's built when your actions prove that your word to yourself is reliable. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, your mind learns trust. Every time you break one, it learns doubt. Over time, this shapes how you carry yourself, speak, and make decisions. Discipline also eliminates mental noise. When you already know what must be done, there is no room for overthinking. Weak minds are loud because they are undecided. Strong minds are quiet because decisions have already been made. That clarity is a competitive advantage. While others hesitate, you move. While others talk, you build. The highest form of freedom is not doing whatever you want. It is being able to do what must be done, regardless of how you feel. That is mental authority in its purest form. When discipline becomes automatic, your life becomes unstoppable. Excuses don't show up loudly. They don't announce themselves as weakness. They arrive dressed as logic, comfort, and reason. That's why they are so dangerous. An excuse never says, I'm here to ruin your life. It says just this once, you deserve a break, or now isn't the right time. And the moment you accept one, you train your mind to repeat the behavior. This is how weakness is installed, quietly, gradually, and without resistance. Most people never consider excuses a rehearsed failure. The more you explain why you can't act, the better your mind becomes at defending inaction. Over time, your brain starts producing excuses automatically, without effort. You don't even notice it happening. You wake up already prepared to avoid pressure. That's when progress stops completely, because your mind has learned that escape is allowed. Look closely at how excuses operate. They always sound reasonable. They reference fatigue, timing, mood, or circumstances. But none of those things have ever stopped disciplined people from executing. The difference is not ability. The difference is tolerance. Some people refuse to tolerate the discomfort of action, so they justify avoidance instead. And once justification becomes normal, accountability disappears. Excuses feel harmless in the moment, but compound brutally over time. Skipping once doesn't destroy you. Repeating the behavior does. One excuse turns into a pattern. A pattern turns into identity. And identity determines outcomes. You don't wake up one day and suddenly fail at life. You practice failing in small, acceptable ways for years. Your mind loves excuses because they protect your ego. They allow you to feel intelligent while staying inactive. They let you believe you're capable without ever proving it. That's why breaking the excuse habit is uncomfortable. It forces honesty. It removes the emotional safety net. And most people would rather protect their feelings than their future. Excuses also destroy momentum. Action creates clarity. Inaction creates doubt. When you delay, your mind fills the gap with fear and overthinking. You start imagining worst-case scenarios that never happen. Then you convince yourself you were right to hesitate. This feedback loop traps people in permanent preparation mode, always almost ready, never moving. Here's something most people don't want to admit. Excuses are addictive. They reduce immediate stress. They make pressure disappear temporarily. And like any addiction, they require stronger justification over time. What once needed a small excuse eventually needs a story. A story becomes a belief, and beliefs shape reality. The only way to break this cycle is zero tolerance. Not fewer excuses, not better excuses, none. The moment an excuse appears, action must follow immediately. This retrains the mind. It teaches it that discomfort does not equal danger, and resistance does not equal stop. Over time, the mind stops producing excuses because they no longer work. Strong individuals don't eliminate excuses by thinking differently. They eliminate them by acting faster than the excuse can finish its sentence. Speed kills hesitation. Movement destroys negotiation. The faster you act, the less power your mind has to sabotage you. When excuses are removed, something powerful happens. Responsibility returns, clarity increases. Self-respect grows. You stop blaming conditions and start adjusting behavior. And once your mind realizes there is no escape route, it adapts. It becomes stronger, sharper, and more disciplined. The life you want is on the other side of excuses you've been protecting. Every time you refuse one, you reclaim authority. Every time you accept one, you give it away. Most people believe emotions are signals to be followed. That belief quietly ruins lives. Emotions are reactions, not instructions. They rise and fall based on sleep, food, stress, attention, and environment. If your life's most dangerous lead your decisions, you hand control of your life to something unstable and unreliable. That's why so many people feel busy but don't know where. They are emotionally active, not strategically effective. That cuts through the noise. If your emotions are in charge, your results will always be inconsistent. One good day, you're confident and driven. One bad mood, and everything collapses. That's not strength. That's emotional dependency. Powerful people don't feel less emotion. They simply refuse to let emotion decide direction. They feel fear and move anyway. They feel doubt and execute anyway. They feel tired and stay disciplined anyway. Your emotions are designed to protect you from discomfort, not to help you win. Fear exists to avoid risk. Laziness exists to conserve energy. Pleasure exists to keep you comfortable. None of these are aligned with growth. Growth requires stress. Progress requires pressure. If you wait until you feel right, you will wait forever, because your emotions will always argue for safety over expansion. Emotions lie the loudest right before progress. The moment you are about to do something that matters, discomfort increases. Anxiety rises, doubt speaks up. That's not a warning sign. That's resistance. And resistance is proof you're moving in the right direction. Weak minds interpret that feeling as a reason to stop. Strong minds recognize it as a signal to push. Emotional people react. Controlled people respond. Reaction is immediate and unfiltered. Response is delayed and deliberate. When someone insults you, when something goes wrong, when plans change, your first emotional impulse is rarely the correct move. Reacting gives away leverage. Responding keeps authority. This is why emotional control is not about suppression. It's about timing. You don't eliminate emotion. You postpone action until emotion no longer controls the outcome. Here's what most people miss. Every emotional reaction trains future reactions. If anger makes you lash out, your mind learns that anger equals action. If fear makes you avoid, your mind learns that fear equals retreat. Over time, this becomes automatic. Emotional discipline means breaking that pattern, feeling something without acting on it, letting the emotion pass while you stay in command. Strong individuals do not try to feel confident before acting. Confidence is the byproduct of correct behavior repeated under pressure. Acting despite emotional resistance builds proof. Proof builds belief. Belief builds confidence. This order cannot be reversed. Waiting to feel confident is a losing strategy used by people who want comfort more than results. Emotional comfort is expensive. It costs time, opportunity, respect, and momentum. Every time you choose short-term emotional relief over long-term discipline, you pay interest later. That interest shows up as regret, frustration, and self-doubt. Controlled individuals accept emotional discomfort early to avoid permanent dissatisfaction later. When emotions no longer lead, clarity increases. Decisions become simpler. You stop asking, "How do I feel about this?" and start asking, "What must be done?" That shift alone separates leaders from followers. Leaders act based on principle and outcome. Followers act based on mood. Emotional control also makes you unpredictable in a good way. People cannot manipulate someone who does not react. They cannot provoke, distract, or derail you. Silence becomes strength. Calm becomes authority. You don't need to explain yourself. Your consistency speaks for you. The moment emotions obey instead of lead, your performance stabilizes. Your energy becomes focused. Your actions align with your goals instead of your moods. And once that happens, progress stops being accidental and starts becoming inevitable. Focus is not a personality trait. It is not something you are born with or without. Focus is a decision repeated so many times that it becomes your default state. In a world designed to fracture attention, focus has become rare, and rarity creates power. Most people are not losing because they are incapable. They are losing because their attention is constantly being stolen. Every distraction you tolerate weakens your ability to execute, and execution is the only thing that produces results. That should hit hard. Whatever controls your attention controls your life. If your focus is owned by notifications, opinions, entertainment, and noise, then your outcomes will be owned by them too. You cannot build anything meaningful with a divided mind. Great outcomes require sustained attention, and sustained attention is impossible when you allow everything access to your thoughts. Distraction feels harmless because it doesn't look like failure. It looks like checking one message, watching one video, scrolling for a few minutes. But distraction doesn't waste time all at once. It destroys momentum. And momentum is fragile. Once broken, getting back into a productive state requires effort most people never make. That's why distracted people stay busy but produce nothing of value. Multitasking is not a skill, it's mental weakness disguised as productivity. The human mind does not do multiple things well at once. It switches rapidly between tasks, losing efficiency every time. Focused individuals understand this. They remove options. They create environments where attention has only one place to go. That's not extreme, that's intelligent. Focus is a weapon because it compresses time. 1 hour of deep, uninterrupted work beats 10 hours of distracted effort. This is how disciplined individuals move faster without rushing. While others are overwhelmed, they are precise. While others feel pressure, they feel control. Focus turns complexity into simple execution. Your mind resists focus at first because focus removes stimulation. It removes novelty. It removes escape. That discomfort is why most people avoid it. Silence makes them restless. Stillness exposes their lack of control. But that discomfort is exactly where power is built. The ability to sit with one task, one goal, one problem until it is solved is a competitive advantage that cannot be replaced. Here's something most people never realize. Focus is not just about working harder, it's about choosing what deserves your energy. Saying yes to everything is mental laziness. Focused people are ruthless with priorities. They understand that every unnecessary commitment is a distraction disguised as responsibility. They protect their attention the same way they protect their money. Focus also sharpens decision-making. When your mind is scattered, decisions feel heavy and confusing. When your mind is focused, decisions become obvious. Clarity is not found by thinking more. It is found by eliminating noise. Once the noise is gone, the next move reveals itself. Distraction creates emotional instability. When your attention is constantly pulled in different directions, your emotions follow. Anxiety increases, patience decreases, frustration becomes normal. Focus stabilizes emotion because it gives the mind a single objective. With one target, energy stops leaking. People who master focus become dangerous in the best way. They don't announce moves. They don't explain plans. They don't react to every opinion. While others are arguing, they are building. While others are consuming, they are creating. This quiet separation is how real progress is made. The discipline of focus also builds trust with yourself. Every time you sit down and complete what you started without distraction, you reinforce self-respect. You prove that your attention is not for sale. That internal trust compounds into confidence, and confidence changes how you operate in every environment. Focus is not about intensity all the time. It is about intention all the time. Knowing when to work deeply and when to rest deliberately. Random breaks destroy progress. Planned rest preserves it. Controlled individuals choose both with purpose. Once focus becomes your standard, your output multiplies, your stress drops, and your presence changes. People can feel when someone is fully engaged. That presence commands respect without effort. In a distracted world, focus is not just a tool, it is dominance. Self-control is not about being quiet or passive. It is about power, real power, the kind that doesn't need to announce itself or prove anything to anyone. Most people think dominance comes from aggression, volume, or constant reaction. That's wrong. The strongest people in any room are the ones who are hardest to provoke. When you control your reactions, you control the situation. When you lose control, even for a moment, you give your power away. Most people underestimate anyone can be loud, emotional, and reactive. That takes no skill. Self-control takes strength. It takes awareness. It takes restraint. And restraint is intimidating because it signals confidence. A person who does not rush to respond, explain, or defend is a person who knows their value. That energy is felt immediately, even if nothing is said. Every emotional outburst, every impulsive decision, every unnecessary reaction is information. It tells the world where your weak spots are. It tells people how to push you, how to distract you, how to manipulate you. When someone knows they can trigger you, they own you in that moment. Self-control removes that leverage. It makes you unpredictable, calm, grounded, untouchable. Respect is not demanded, it is demonstrated. People do not respect those who lose control under pressure. They may fear them briefly, but fear fades. Respect lasts. Respect comes from consistency, composure, and discipline. When you stay calm while others panic, when you stay silent while others argue, when you stay focused while others react, the balance of power shifts in your favor. Self-control also changes how you see yourself. Every time you resist an impulse, you reinforce authority over your own behavior. That builds self-trust. And self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Confidence does not come from praise or success alone. It comes from knowing that you can rely on yourself to act correctly under pressure. Without that, success feels fragile. With it, even failure becomes manageable. Most people are controlled by urges they don't question. The urge to speak, the urge to respond, the urge to check, scroll, react, justify. These small losses of control accumulate. They fragment attention and weaken discipline. Self-controlled individuals pause. They create space between impulse and action. In that space, they choose deliberately. That pause is where power lives. Here's something rarely discussed. Self-control earns respect, even from people who dislike you. They may disagree with you. They may compete with you, but they cannot dismiss you. Your composure forces them to take you seriously. Emotional stability communicates leadership. People instinctively look to the calmest person in chaos. That's who they trust. That's who they follow. Self-control also protects long-term goals. Many opportunities are lost not because of lack of ability, but because of one uncontrolled moment, one angry response, one impulsive decision, one emotional reaction that could not be taken back. Controlled individuals play the long game. They understand that winning the moment is meaningless if it costs the future. Silence is often the most dominant response. Not every challenge deserves engagement. Not every insult deserves a reply. Not every opinion deserves your energy. Choosing not to react is not weakness. It is selectivity. And selectivity is a sign of abundance. You act only when it serves your purpose. Self-control also creates internal peace, which most people secretly crave. When your reactions are controlled, your mind is quieter. You stop replaying arguments. You stop regretting words. You stop carrying unnecessary emotional weight. That mental clarity improves performance across the board. Decisions become cleaner. Focus sharpens. Energy increases. In environments of pressure, conflict, or competition, self-control becomes a visible advantage. While others expose their emotions, you gather information. While others rush, you observe. While others react emotionally, you respond strategically. Over time, this creates a reputation. People know you cannot be rattled, and people are careful around those they cannot shake. Self-control is not about suppressing who you are. It is about refining it, channeling energy instead of wasting it, choosing precision over chaos. When you master yourself, external respect follows naturally. You don't chase it. You don't ask for it. It arrives as a consequence of your discipline. The man who controls himself controls the room. The man who controls the room controls outcomes. And that level of power is built quietly, decision by decision, reaction by reaction, every single day. Let me close this properly. Your future is not decided by luck, intelligence, or background. It is decided by whether you control your mind or let it control you. Every great life is built on mental authority. Decide today that your thoughts will no longer run wild. Decide that excuses are banned. Decide that discipline is non-negotiable. Because once your mind is under control, everything else, money, power, respect, freedom, falls into place. Control the mind, and you control the man.